In the sleepy village of Fasten, Yugi was known as a monster tamer, but most people believed him weak and overlooked him. Little did they know he was a powerful sage with abilities beyond their wildest imagination. One day, a calamity befell the village as 10,000 monsters descended upon them. Panic and chaos spread as the villagers scrambled for cover, but Yugi stood tall, ready to defend his home with the help of his tamed slimes, the fierce wolf monster, Proud Wolf, and the enchanting forest spirit Dryad. Achi fought tirelessly to protect the village. His barrier was impenetrable and his dragon's fire was relentless as he took down wave after wave of monsters. But the battle was not without loss. Several adventurers fell in battle and Uji's magic took a toll on his body. The situation was dire and the villagers feared for their lives when all seemed lost. Yugi's quick thinking led him to capture a member of the Blue Moon of Salvation, the cult responsible for controlling the monsters. However, before they could extract any information, the cultist took his own life, leaving behind a magical lantern used to control the monsters. Yuji's powerful magic had saved the village, but it had taken its toll on him. He collapsed from exhaustion and while unconscious, had a sudden flashback to a past life as a salaryman in Japan. When he awoke, Yugi slipped away quietly, unwilling to draw attention to himself or his incredible powers. But deep down, he knew that he would always be ready to defend his village and its people. No matter what challenges lay ahead as the sun set on the once peaceful village of Fasten, the survivors mourned their losses and thanked Yugi for his bravery. They knew their lives would never be the same, and they could only hope that Yuji's incredible powers would be enough to keep them safe in the uncertain days ahead. Yugi's journey as an adventurer continued as he arrived at Killian's Adventurer Guild, where he was invited to form a party due to his exceptional tracking abilities. The party consisted of Knife, Wielder, Rotiz, Archer, Tina, and Spear Builder Lisa. Their first job was to track down a rock dragon, and they set off on their quest with high hopes. As they rested for the night, Yugi found himself dreaming of his previous life as a salaryman, only to wake up in a game world where he was a novice tamer. He quickly tamed several slimes and stumbled upon the abandoned hut of a deceased sorcerer. As the slimes read the sorcerer's collection of books, Yugi absorbed all the knowledge and skills, earning the coveted title of sage. Within minutes, Yugi awoke with a newfound sense of power. But their mission took a dark turn when Rotiz went missing. They followed his trail and discovered that he was a bandit who lured and kidnapped unsuspecting adventurers to sell them into slavery. Yugi froze the bandit camp in solid ice, and the party discovered that one of the bandits was Gilios, an infamous bandit and cult member with a substantial price on his head. As they confronted Gilios, he cryptically spoke of a future calamity, causing Yugi to grow concerned. It was then that they realized that the Blue Moon cult was behind the attack at Fasten and Gilios was just a small piece of their larger scheme. Despite the danger, the party continued their quest to track down the rock dragon. Along the way they encountered numerous challenges and fought valiantly to overcome them. With Ug's sage-like powers and the skills of his party members, they were able to track down the dragon and defeat it in a thrilling battle. With their mission complete, Yugi couldn't shake the feeling that something big was looming on the horizon. He knew that the Blue Moon cult was planning something, and he was determined to uncover their plans and protect his fellow adventurers from harm. As they parted ways, Yugi promised his party members that he would always be ready to face any challenge that came their way. Little did they know that their journey was far from over and that they would soon find themselves at the center of a much larger conflict. They collect the dragon skull and turn in the infamous bandit Gilios for the bounty. The guild rewards them with a whopping 14 million gold. However, Yugi is soon drawn into a meeting with Gal Chief. Bayard and Grand Cathedral representative Father Stale reveals a troubling church legend about a divine emissary who once defeated a dragon that destroyed an entire continent. The church had attempted to summon the emissary 30 years ago, but the plan failed. Reynard orders the guild to attack the blue dragon at first light, but Yugi receives a special gift from Stale, the Dagger of Tetiz, a church relic that can focus magic power as UT Slimes report that the blue dragon continues to grow larger. He realizes that many adventurers may die in the upcoming battle. With his newfound power and determination, he makes a crucial decision. Yugi and his slimes bravely face off against the ferocious dragon, with Yugi using his defensive magic to protect himself and his companions. With the Dagger of Ketosis, Yugi unleashes a concentrated burst of fire magic, striking the dragon in the neck and causing it to explode, defeating the creature. However, suspicions are raised by Guild Chief Railyard, who accuses Yugi being behind the mysterious defeat of the dragon. In order to avoid further attention, Yugi decides to leave for the ordinary town of Ricardo. On the way, Dryad informs him of the magical properties of dried corpses, which she uses to create powerful potions as they brew. Yugi reminisces about his past encounter with Dryad, where he saved her forest from a mysterious crystal that was draining its magic. As he approaches Ricardo, Yugi is met with a strange sight, the landscape covered in an unnatural. He soon discovers the village of meshes shrouded in a thick fog, whose villagers are suspicious of his presence. However, they seem to have their own agenda regarding the dragon. Grace and Yugi must navigate their dangerous machinations while also uncovering the truth behind the village's eerie atmosphere. Upon arriving in Ricardo, Yugi discovers that the town is experiencing an unusual snowstorm and has run out of firewood for cooking. Using his slimes, Yugi comes up with a solution to dry out freshly chopped trees for firewood, which earns him the gratitude of the town chef who prepares him a delicious meal. Yugi then helps the local foresters by procuring enough wood to last the town for several weeks. Later, the chef reveals that the towns or fields are being plagued by monsters, and Yugi and his companions help defeat them. They also come across a cursed crystal made of dragon grace which is causing the snow, and follow a trail of similar crystals to an old house with a trapdoor leading underground despite Dryad's objections. Yugi destroys the forest around the crystal center to reveal the trapdoor. Upon discovering the enormous machine that produces dragon grace using stolen magic, Yugi also discovers that all the villagers of Messiahs are Blue Moon cultists. Javier, the cult leader, is furious with Yugi for destroying the forest and damaging the machine. The slimes secretly swallow all the cult's sacred texts and treasure. Yugi decides to kill the cultists, but learns that doing so will activate a weapon called Cleansing Flame, which would destroy the entire area including Ricardo Village. Instead, Yugi lets the cultists live, but they all commit suicide to activate the weapon. Working quickly, Yugi retrieves the slimes and creates a new spell called Total Isolation Barrier to prevent the flame from spreading beyond Messiest. The Ricardo villagers celebrate Yugi as the firewood hero and reward him with the finest meal. However, the texts Yugi retrieved contain a list of the cult's targets, including Yugi himself. 2 assassins with an identical list choose Yugi as their next target. Upon hearing about the monster, Yugi heads towards the volcano, accompanied by his slimes and Jiggle. The group finds a fire dragon that has been terrorizing the area. Yugi tries to reason with the dragon, but it attacks him, prompting a fierce battle. Yugi manages to use his fire magic and the dagger of Canthus to injure the dragon, but it proves to be a tough opponent. Just as it seems the dragon will defeat them, the slimes reveal a new ability they had gained from ingesting the Blue Moon cultist's sacred text. They use their newfound magic to freeze the dragon solid, allowing Yugi to deal a final blow with the dagger of Canthus. With the fire dragon defeated, Yugi and Jiggle gather materials to craft armor for the slimes. However, they soon discover that the materials they need can only be found deep inside the volcano. Yugi and the slimes venture into the volcano that the only way to defeat a blue lesser fire dragon would be to cool its body with water from the closest river, which is home to a giant monster piranha. On his way to the river, Yugi tames several red fire slimes that helped him capture the piranha for a large bounty. He also defeats multiple dragons using water summoned by magic and collects their jewels. Eventually, Yugi and his slimes locate a blue lesser fire dragon, which they defeat using ice magic with an abundance of jewels. Jiggle is able to craft armor for the slimes and Proud, both significantly increasing their speed. However, Jiggle warns Yugi that his most powerful spells could damage or even destroy the armor if overused. The only way to craft stronger armor is with a jewel from a true flame dragon, which lives in the lava of the volcano and rarely surfaces. Suddenly the remaining lesser dragons go mad due to the same cultist spell that made 10,000 monsters attack Fasten. The flame dragon itself emerges from the volcano, presenting a significant challenge for Yugi and his team. Following the defeat of the flame dragon, Yugi and the slimes investigate the artificial rainmaker and confirm it is indeed planted by the Blue Moon cult Dry. It explains that it's a device that manipulates the weather and can cause localized storms or droughts. Yugi realizes that the cult was trying to use it to control the fire dragon and cause destruction. With this knowledge, he decides to head to Ardarian to investigate further in order. Darien Yuji finds the town is under the control of the Blue Moon cult. The villagers are being forced to work in the cult's mines and are heavily guarded. Yugi uses his stealth skills and the help of his slimes to gather information. He learns that the cult's leader, a man named Vargas, is planning to create a massive cursed crystal to control the weather over the entire region. Vargas believes that by controlling the weather he can manipulate the population and rule over them as a god. Yugi and Stale confront Johan, who reveals that he joined the cult because he was a criminal and had nowhere else to go. Walter promised him protection and money if he worked for the cult. Johan gives them a map of the cult's underground fortress where Walter and his top followers were hiding. Yuji and Stale infiltrate the fortress and fight their way through multiple traps and cultists. They eventually confront Walter, who claims to have received a divine revelation that he will be victorious and cleans the world of sin and corruption. Yugi and Walter engage in a fierce battle with Walter, using dark magic to summon demons to fight for him. Yugi's slimes help to distract the demons, allowing Yugi to deliver the final blow to Walter with his sword. Yugi and his slimes pursue Sage, but they are unable to stop him from activating the Rainmaker machines. As the rain falls, monsters across the world are transformed into powerful dragon grace-infused creatures. Yugi realizes the magnitude of the threat and decides to seek the help of the other adventurer guilds. He travels to the guilds in different cities and convinces them of the danger the world is facing. They agreed to join forces and fight against the new threat. As the guild prepare for the upcoming battles, Yugi's slimes discover a way to destroy the Rainmaker machines. They relay the information to Eugene, who leads the guild in a coordinated attack against the machines. With the help of the guilds, they destroy the machines, stopping the spread of dragon grace. With the world safe once again. With the threat of the cult and the purifier gone, Yuji disappears once again, hoping to live in obscurity. However, his reputation as a dragon slayer and hero has spread across the continent, making it impossible for him to live a quiet